Warning: the following video contains disturbing material that may be inappropriate for younger viewers. Parental discretion is advised. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to the month of October serial killer-thon. And on day 9, I give you Wee Gaskins. Also again, YouTube won't monetize my videos because of the content, so I need your help to share, like the video if you like it. If not, let me know what I can do to improve it. And subscribe, because only 2.2% of you are subscribed. Now, with that all being said, here's Wee Gaskins. Roll that intro. "5 foot 2 inches of vicious cruelty." Wee Gaskins has a claim of being the United States' most prolific serial killer. That is, if his own account, which has him killing well over 100 victims, is to be believed. What is certain is that Wee Gaskins was as cold-hearted a killer as there has ever been. Unusually among serial killers, he was capable of committing two distinct kinds of murders. On one hand, he was a career criminal who murdered purely for business reasons. On the other, he was a sex killer, preying on both men and women. Street smart and utterly immoral, Gaskins became a virtual killing machine. Gaskins was born in South Carolina on March 31st, 1933, in the middle of the Great Depression. Wee was the last in a string of illegitimate children. His early life was characterized by neglect and regular beatings from his assorted stepfathers. Small for his age, he was immediately nicknamed Pee-wee. His mother took so little interest in him that the first time he ever learned his given name, Donald, was when it was read out on occasion of his first court appearance in his mid-teens. The court appearance followed a brief crime spree indulged by Pee-wee and a couple of fellow dropouts. They sexually assaulted the sister of one of the members and committed a string of robberies. They were arrested after a witness was able to identify them to the police after surviving a savage hatchet assault carried out during a botched robbery, and Pee-wee was sent to a reform school. There, the diminutive boy was regularly sexually assaulted by fellow inmates. He was released when he was 18 in 1951 and briefly worked on a tobacco plantation, but was soon arrested again, this time for arson and assaulting a woman with a hammer. In prison, he was sexually assaulted again. This time, though, he fought back, cutting his assaulter's throat. He received an extra 3 years in prison for this. But from that point on, Wee Gaskins became the aggressor rather than the victim. He escaped briefly from prison in 1955. But was recaptured and sentenced once again. Finally, released in 1961, he was back in prison a year later for statutory. It was not until his release in 1968 that Gaskins finally spent a sufficient time outside prison. Unfortunately for the rest of the world, he was now 35 years old and absolutely lethal. He killed for the first time in September 1969, torturing and murdering a hitchhiker he picked up before drowning her in a swamp. "All I could think about was I could do anything I want to her," he wrote in one of his memoirs. She was to be the first of many hitchhikers he picked up and killed on the back roads. Unbelievably, he used to drive around in a purple hearse with a plastic skeleton hanging from the rearview mirror. When asked why he would choose such a vehicle, he used to reply, "Because I kill so many people." Unfortunately, everyone thought it was a joke. Further evidence of his maniacal inclinations was the fact that he stored dynamite in the fridge and vats of sulfuric acid in his backyard. Gaskins' appetite for murder soon led him to kill closer to home. In November 1970, he sexually assaulted and murdered his own 15-year-old niece, Janice Kirby, and a friend of hers. The following month, he is thought to have tortured and murdered the 13-year-old daughter of a local politician, a crime Gaskins later confessed to. In 1973, in the most horrifying of all murders, he sexually assaulted and murdered two of his neighbors, Doreen Dempsey, age 23 and 8 months pregnant, and her 1-year-old daughter. No one yet suspected that Pee-wee was a serial sex killer, but some of his acquaintances knew that he was prepared to commit murder for a reasonable reward. In February 1975, a woman named Suzanne Kipper hired Gaskins to kill her boyfriend, Silas Barnwell Yates. The pair briefly considered marriage, but events conspired against them. In order to cover up the murder, Gaskins ended up killing 4 more times. One of the victims was a woman called Diane Neely, who helped set up Yates for his murder. Her brother, Walter Neely, was involved in Gaskins' main business, a stolen car racket, initially helped Gaskin cover up the killings. It was the stolen car business that led to Gaskin's arrest at the end of the year. At this point, Walter Neely lost all his nerve and confessed to his involvement in the cover-up murders, and testified that Gaskin was responsible for the murders. From now on, Gaskin's main priority was to avoid the death penalty. He made endless deals with the police if they guaranteed that he would not be put to death. In May 1976, he was convicted for one murder and received 9 more life sentences. In 1978, in return for his confession, the sentence was indeed kept down to life imprisonment. That should have been the end of Wee Gaskins' story. Instead, his lust to kill was such that, while serving his sentence, he accepted a contract to kill Randolph Tanner, a prisoner on death row. Gaskin managed to rig up a bomb in a radio belonging to Tanner, and it indeed did kill him. This time, however, Gaskin had no bargaining power. He was sentenced to death, a punishment that was finally carried out by electric chair in 1991. That's all the time we have for today, guys. I hope you liked the video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment what you think the next serial killer is going to be. You can follow me or reach out to me on Twitter, and I also have a Twitch channel that I'm going to be gaming out a lot more on. With that all being said, guys, until next time, sweet dreams.